Hi coders, welcome to an in-depth Git tutorial where we are unpacking all the chapters of the Git Notes for Professionals book on Goldmine compiled from Stack Overflow Documentation. I'll be leaving the link for that in the description as well. Today we are using a real web project with HTML, CSS and JavaScript to master Git basics. Expect hands-on demos, pro tips and everything you need to go from being a Git newbie to being a confident user of Git. Let's dive into it. So this is the HTML, CSS and JavaScript files that we have here. So this is our project that we're going to use right here. Alright, so the first command that you should be running is called git -hyphen version to check whether you have Git installed on your device. If not, you can just have this command here, git scm .com, and just cut it here, paste it on your web browser, and this will open up. From here, you can download it as well. So that's the first command that you should be putting on a terminal. So if you see a version number, you're good to go. If not, you head to the website that I just showed and install Git for your operating system, may it be Windows, Mac, or Linux. On Linux, you can also use sudo apt get install Git. This is for Ubuntu, just a pro tip. All right. So now that we have done that, we can also then get config global user dot name, and I'll put in my name now MC. This is my Git username, and Git config again the global tag along with my user dot email, and I'll be putting in my email over here. This is my email. So this is the config. Okay, so so what you do here, I'll just cut it and I'll paste it here. And so now what I've done is configured my Git. So it knows which email and username to ping. So now the what will happen is that I've configured my identity. So Git tags every commit with your name and email. So I've just run these globally with the global tag. However, if you want to, let's just first check our have whether we have listed. So yeah, we have listed our username and email. So that means that we have successfully configured our username and email for Git. So you can create this for a particular project also. Just you have to remove. Let me paste, and you just have to remove these. Let me remove this also. Yeah, so this if you remove and you can paste it here, so it will configure for your specific repository as well. So if you're having two addresses, let's say one is for your work and one is for personal use, you can use this as well. So now first thing you have to do is initiate a GitHub repository. So now, so here that it happens, I've initiated it in a wrong repository, which is a wrong folder, which is at my home folder. So this was not what I was supposed to do, so I will just change my directory back to downloads, and downloads I'll change my original folder. And now here you run your git init file and reinitializing existing, because I've already initiated the git repository. So this is what you have to, this initiates git for your repository. So what this does is it creates a hidden .git folder, which is the heart of your repository. Alternatingly, you can create clone an existing repo by just writing in git clone. And just to show you all, if I just go to GitHub and let's say anyone repository, let's say this one, you will get an the cloning link here. You write it with your git clone and you can clone this. But as I am currently on the wrong repository, I won't do that. I'll just, let's say, I'll change my directory again to downloads, and then I can probably git clone the repository. You will clone it, and you can verify it on your local folder as well. In my case, it is in my downloads. So now this is basically what you have done to set up the repository till now. So you can even basically what cloning does is copies a remote repository locally, including its history. So want a specific folder name, even you can do it like this. So let's say I can give it a name, let's say Arnav. So cloning it to Arnav. So basically now it has created two folders in my downloads. One is named Arnav and one is named Inference Benchmark. So these are the two folders that it has put in it there. And now this next command you can put is git status, and now this is for download. So let me just change my repository directory again to my GitHub, and yeah, the folder's name is GitHub, by the way, the one we are using here. The next thing that we do is put in git status. So now this will just show you untracked files. All of this will come back to later, just to check whether or not there is nothing to add, but untracked files are present. So just to check whether or not it's working. That's the only reason. The other niche words written here will come back to that later. So it will show untracked files. So now what we'll do is you have to stage them. So there are so many files that you can see here which are not staged. So first thing that we'll have to do is stage them. So now what does that mean? We'll come to that later. We'll just write git add dot added using the git add dot command, so it adds every kind of file which can be committed right here. As you can see, so there are no commits yet, but there are files which can be committed. So we have staged those commits, so there is a new file which we can actually commit to the repository that we want. Now we can commit with a message. So for that we use git commit message. So we can use that as well. So I'll just set here initial commit. So let me just put in. So now it has created all of this 9 files of 98 instructions. What is this? Does this exactly mean? We'll also come back to this later. So now what happens here is one of the pro tips which I'll give is write clear commits like add feature, fix bug. It helps later on when you have complex repositories. You can also skip the this flag -m flag to open an editor for longer messages. So let's say I gave an empty commit of get commit and on nothing to commit what we. So next time that we want to commit something over here, what we'll do is without a commit, so it will open up a text editor over here and you can put in a longer set of message over there. So what we have done till now is we have installed it, we have configured it, we have initiated a repo, and we have committed these files over there. So now we can browse history. So now the next thing that we do is we'll explore our repositories history, where every commit is a snapshot, and Git's log commands let you inspect these logs, commits. Let's make a few changes to see this in action. So now we have our index.html code over here. Let me just, yeah, and zoom out a bit, a little more, and yeah. So now I'll this is a hello world. We can change this to add a h1 hello world line as well. So let's say probably I want to say this is a uh, web project, and I'll say hello world, hello world. So yeah. Now if I save this, and I've basically what I've done here is I've tried to update the HTML5. Now you can see here there is a message modified mark which is shown over here. So now what we can do is we can add git. Um, we have to now commit this updated file. So we add git add index.html and ignore this .gpg right now. I'll come back to that later. And we now write git commit. Now to show that in text editor format, see now it has opened up on Nano. So I'll just exit it for now and I'll commit it with a message message tag, and I'll put in, let's say, add hello world. What? Yeah, add hello world. So now one file, it shows that one file has been changed and one insertion and one deletion has been done. So now we can do same style. We can do the same with style CSS as well. Let's say I want to add the padding. I want to increase the padding from 20 to 25, margin bottom from 20 to 25 again. I'll save this. As you can see, it has again been modified. So now I'll again do git add. Now this time we'll be doing style.css and we'll be doing commit uh, changed pixels. Just an example. So now it has changed again. 2 insertion and 2 deletions have been done over here. So now to see all the commits, you can just run a git log function. So okay, so you can see here all the commit that have been done, head and master. All of this will come back to later, but you can see the basic commit messages that we have run and at what time we have run, and along with that, what was this. So we'll come back to this also later. So I'll just exit this for now. And here what we'll do is write git log one line. So here we can see the initial commits and whatever we have done over here. So now what we can do is, let's say we want a visual for this. So we can write git log graph decorate and all. So if you want to see it decorated as well with a branch timeline, so what we can do is write git log graph decorate and all. This is one of the commands that you can run to see the everything with a visual as well. So to make it a branch timeline also, you can write git log 3 and we can write one line. Now if you are curious about a specific commit, we can also use git show. So if you have git show and let's say we want to put in the git hash that we have here. So let's say I want to use this, so I'll just paste it here, and now this will show everything that has been done over here as well. So and so yeah, so we can filter it by authors as well. We can date it with git log. To group by contributions, we can use by author use also. So these are the different things that we can be doing. We can be do with this. So you can search for commits with this also. So let me write git log grep and we can write here as home page. So it will find commits mentioning home page. So let me write here again index. Let me write pixels. So now it has showed me this highlighted text where the commit was related to pixels. This is also one of the commits that we can run. And if you want to filter by author, so we can use git log author. Let's say now in my case it is Arnav MCMXBI. Now it will show all of this. But if I put in, let's say, another person's this, let's say Jane, it won't show anything. All right. So now to we can also filter by author with this or date with let's say git log since let's say 2025 05 01. So now again it will show all the commits that have been done in this repository from this date onwards. So these are some specific things that you can use in order to get some pretty basic idea. So now let's move on to the next tag that we have here. So this is done to group contributions by author and by use. So we have gotten three comments that have been done by me. So that is being shown over there. So the screen is showing now the author commit counts. For a GUI, you can also try git k to visualize history interactive. So you can install it also if necessary. So we can use that also. So let me move on to the next commit. As the visuals you all can try on your own and experiment and let me know in the comments how you feel about the same. So now the challenge is to run git log one line on your repo and check a commit with git show. So this is the basic challenge that you can do right now. Just pause the video and do that and share your findings in the comment section. So yeah, so now we can start working with remotes. So what is remote? So basically we repos hosted on platforms like GitHub are posted for collaboration. So let's connect our web project to a GitHub repository. First, we need to create a new repository on GitHub, which does not require any files. So you can copy its URL and link it locally. So let's say we can add, let's say git remote add origin and what we can do here is actually make a new. So what we do here is we go to our repositories and we create a new one, so which will name as GitHub. So now that this is being done, so now you can just click on this cloning thing and add on here. And now we have added the git remote origin. So now we can verify this with git remote b to push our commits. We'll do in the next thing, but we can first remote b to verify whether or not this is working or not. So this is a fetch and push. We'll come back to this in detail later. But now what we can do is git push origin master. So this will now push do this where the screen will show on your screen. It will show that the progress has been done. So where all of this can be used in the same version. So what is the next thing that can be done? If the remote has changes, you can fetch them also without merging. So what does it all merge and this all mean? We'll come back to that later. But for now, let's first fetch origin for now. So there is nothing as such that is being done here because there are no changes right now. Or to pull to fetch and merge, we can do this. Get pull origin master. So we can, as it is showing here, it is already up to date. So now we'll move on to the next thing that we want to do. So which is to uh, one more tip that I'll give here is that if you clone a repository, it automatically is set to origin. If you want to add another remote, like let's say a colleague's fork, like if you have a fork from a colleague, so you can add that as well. Let's say git remote add Jane and paste this. So now what it has done is I'll just run this. Now you can see there are four these where two are from origin and two are for G. So yeah, so that's that. We can list this for details like get remote show origin. So yeah, so fetch URL and everything can be portrayed over here. So now the next thing that we move on to is setting listing the remotes with to update a remote's URL. Also we can do this, like let's say get a remote set URL um, origin new URL. Let's say this is just a basic idea. Okay. So now this we have listed remote with git remote show origin. So we'll update. So now that we have listed git remote show origin for details, now we'll update our remote's URL as we have done here, and after that we can move to deleting a remote branch. Here we write git push origin delete delete feature branch. So now that we have done git remote show origin as well, as you can see here. So now that next thing that I've done is set a new URL for the origin, uh, and then what I've done is try to delete a feature branch where now it is showing an error because now there is no such thing as new URL.git. So now what I'll do is I'll again do git remote set URL to this for origin. So mind you, we are doing this all for origin. So I'll go back here and now I've set this. So again, if I check now, it will show the correct version. And now if I do the delete one, delete feature branch, now it will do this because there is no such branch which exists. But just to make show that we can do some basic debugging with whatever we have learned till now as well. So edge case we can understand here is that if a push fails due to conflicts or pull first or resolve conflicts, then try to push again, and we'll cover conflicts in chapter 8 as well, where we understand this in much more detail. Now the challenge is to push your repo to GitHub and fetch it to another folder. This is the basic challenge that a person may have, may take on or at this stage. So try it and let me know also. So next thing that we'll be trying to do here is staging. So like basically what we can do is staging means to preparing changes for a commit. Staging area lets you choose what goes into your snapshot. Let's modify script.js. So let's go to script.js, and screen shows this on your screen. So let's now check status. So now we write get status. So yeah, there's nothing to be done. So now what we can do is change something over here. So let's say I'll just remove this exclamatory mark and I'll save it. So now it is, the file is modified, and now I'll just add git add script.js, and it just ignore this for now. We'll come back to this later, this one. So now we have to stage it. Now that we have staged it, now we can see uh, which are staged. So if I write here git diff stage, now you can see that these are staged here. All right, so now we'll move on to the next step, where we can stage all changes with git add a also, or stage interactively with git add p tag. So now I'll just use this. So there are no changes as of such. So as we have already done that, so we can do that interactively also, just to for your knowledge. So now, but now the thing is that this is great for committing only parts of a file. So if you have to made a staging mistake, let's say, so now you can unstage that with, let's say, git reset script.js. So now unstage changes after. So now it has unstaged. So basically, what you had made a file, stage its changes. Now you have reset those changes back to now. If I you can again like write git status to check there are no changes to be committed. And if I run this command again, and okay, interactively now I have done this, and now I'll check the git status. So now it will show that the file is being modified. So now this is what I have been talking about. So now that I've let's say I want to stage a deleted file, let's say, so we can also do that. Let's say I write rm style.css. So what I've done is I'm going to remove the style.css also. So now we have also done that, and I have committed that as well, where we add a script. uh, so yeah, so there have been deleted the mode style.css as well. Now that we can do, now we can check get status also again. So nothing to commit, work tree is clean right now. So we can also add get add u for tag for modifying or deleted file, but not new ones. So like for new files only, you can use get add n. So that also we can be done. So now the challenge is for you all to modify two files, stage one and commit, and check git status to confirm. So the next thing that we'll be looking at is to ignore files that you don't want Git to track, like logs or secrets. What are logs and secrets will cover in a different video. But to basically not to track Git, the Git track all your files. But if you don't want Git to track certain files, you use git ignore. Now that I've already created a git ignore file, you're going to look at ignoring files that you don't want Git to track, like logs and secrets. So we have created here a .git ignore file. So you can see here the git ignore file over here. So now let me just like whatever file that you want to ignore the git to ignore, we can just put in their extensions over here or their folder names. So yeah, so this is like tn. These are the basic. This ignores the log folders, the .env file, all .tmp files, or like let's say node modules. So basically modules. So basically, it covers all of this. So it checks if whether a file is ignored or not. So now I've changed this. So this has also been modified as well. Let's say you want to do global ignores as well, where the Git does not actually change the Git the ignores files on your global level also. You can create this .git ignore global file, and then you can change. Like let's say for that you can have let's say .bak file, or we can have anything like let's say some specific stuff special to you. You can do this also. So these are the things which you can do also. If you've already committed a file, let's say like .env, you can also untrack it also. So like let's say git rm, uh, you can write this .env, and yeah, so it does not match any file because you have not added these files right now. So we can do this like let's say we can add .env to git ignore, then recommit. We can also use git ls files ignored to find ignored file, like let's say git list files ignored.